Pittsburgh Steelers have a monster matchup coming up against the Cleveland Browns for the second time in a matter of 3 weeks. And this matchup means so much to this Pittsburgh Steelers team as they try to get to that double-digit win total here in early December. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's talk about that Cleveland game. Also, I want to talk a little bit about a possible wide receiver option for the Pittsburgh Steelers as one team makes a surprise cut of a player that was really good last year in 2023. Josh Reynolds from the Detroit Lions went to the Denver Broncos, spent 8 weeks roughly on the IR with a fractured finger. Now that he's fully healthy, he has been cut. Should the Pittsburgh Steelers look at him, considering the lack of production from Mike Williams other than the game winner in Washington? Should the Pittsburgh Steelers continue to try to add depth at that wide receiver spot by picking up a guy like Josh Reynolds, who had his best career season in 2023 with over 600 yards receiving for the Detroit Lions? I think the answer should be yes. I think the Steelers can afford to put a guy like Josh Reynolds into the mix, even if somebody isn't dressing every time, every game. You still add that player to that wide receiver room to continue to add depth and hopefully hit pay dirt with one of them. One of these new additions hopefully would pan out in a big way. And I think that there is no problem adding another weapon for Russell Wilson, who threw the ball to 10 different receivers on Sunday. I think that that's exactly the path that you need to take if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers here with a guy like Josh Reynolds. I think that it's a no-lose situation for the Steelers. There isn't going to be high expectations when Josh comes in. There isn't going to be high payment from the Pittsburgh Steelers to bring Josh in, and I think it could just be a trial period that could get Josh on a roster and potentially let him contribute to a team that's in the hunt. And I think that that's something that the Steelers should and have to look at right now here at this juncture of the season, considering they sit 9-3, headed into a big game against Cleveland, and headed into a very rough stretch of football games here to finish out the 2024 regular season. And when you are in the playoffs, what wins, guys? Depth, depth, depth. I always say that to you, and depth is the key here. The Steelers have remained relatively healthy here over the last stretch of games, and I think the Steelers have that depth right now, and that is what you need to continue to add to and never allow that depth, that cupboard to be cleared. You always want to have somebody in the wings waiting. That is something that definitely needs to happen for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there are targets out there still remaining that the Steelers could go pursue to make their team hopefully better. But what do they have to do here in the immediate? Right now, in the immediate present, right now, the present day that we are in as they go to face the Cleveland Browns in Week 14. What do they have to do in order to be successful against the Cleveland Browns? Well, you can't allow what happened in Cleveland on Thursday, well, a couple Thursdays now ago by the time the game hits, to happen again in terms of defensive football. Defensively, the Steelers have to get that push up front. A very weak, in my opinion, Cleveland Browns offensive line that is susceptible to the pass rush, susceptible to the pressure. And I believe that that's where you have to shine. They did that in Cincinnati by forcing Joe Burrow up into the pocket, forcing into mistakes, batting balls, sacking, strip sacking. That's what they need to do again here this Sunday. They need to force Jameis Winston to step up into the pocket and make errant throws. That's what they have to do. You need a big game from Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton, and Larry Ogunjobi. They have to have a monster game against Winston. Why? Because when that guy gets pushed up into the pocket, they have to be able to force him back, cause that roadblock, force him into throwing the football, force him back a step to where that gives TJ, Alex, Nick, those guys the time to get to him to force those strip sack fumbles. That's what you're looking for if you're the Steelers defensively. Hold tight down the field in tight man-to-man coverage. Very big time very physical press type coverage off the line of scrimmage, not allowing these receivers to get that jump, and that will force that extra second that Jameis Winston needs to allow his wide receivers the ability to get open and force him up into the pocket, force him to move and manipulate the pocket in order to have enough time to get the ball to the wide receivers. That is the key this week. Again, defensively, put pressure on Jameis Winston. Aggressive press man coverage off the line of scrimmage. That is the key, I believe, to stalling this Cleveland Browns offense. Again, they are pretty decent right now. Jameis Winston does have them going, but I think that offensive line of Cleveland is very, very easy to manipulate if you are the Steelers with the personnel that you have and hopefully the scheme that you will present on Sunday against the Browns in Acrisure Stadium. Offensively, what do they need to do offensively, in my opinion? I think it's a very simple formula for Russell Wilson, and this goes forward for the rest of the season. What you did in Cincinnati, not the points, not the yardage that you put up. What do you need to do that really is the key to being successful here moving forward? And that is this: spreading the ball around. 10 receivers is where Russell Wilson found pay dirt, basically. Spreading the football around, moving the football with those guys. And I think that's what you need to continue to do. Yes, you have George Pickens. Yes, you have Najee. Yes, you have Pat. Yes, you have Darnell. You have Cal. You have all those guys. I understand that. But you want everybody involved, and I think that is what made this Pittsburgh Steelers team offensively successful Sunday against the Bengals, and I hope they think of that and realize that spreading the ball around, trying to create that mismatch, Russell Wilson using his veteran presence and knowledge, getting up to the line of scrimmage, identifying where that mismatch is, no matter which player it is out there on the field that is in that mismatch, and delivering the football to them. You are constantly looking for those mismatches, constantly looking for that ability to push the ball down the field. However, still utilize those screens, those dinks, those dunks, and allow that to loosen up that Cleveland defense. Slow down a guy like Myles Garrett on the edge a little bit here in game 2. Don't allow him the time to get back there to Russell Wilson to cause havoc or to push Russell out of the pocket. Allow Russell to get those quick hitters to start to get that defense back on their heels. And I think that's where the Steelers definitely will shine and makes the run game better. It makes the short to intermediate game better, and it definitely makes the deep ball better. When you're drawing players up to play the run, you're putting them back on their heels. They don't know where things are coming from. They're getting confused. They're getting mixed up, and I think that's exactly what you need to do. Spread it around. 10 different guys every week. That sounds really, really good to me. And also, you still have guys like Connor and Mike Williams that you can get involved in this situation. Hell, go 12 different people get the football here offensively in 75, 70 plays that the Steelers might run during the course of a game. And control that clock. I think the Steelers want to do that, play that Steeler brand of football, control the clock, control the time of possession in a big, big way. And I think, honestly, what happened against the Cleveland Browns before was a little bit of a fluke, a little bit of a stumble, but I think it awoke the giant. And I think the Steelers now are really traveling big time down the tracks. They are rolling now. And I think this Steelers team is not going to lose momentum here Sunday. I think they're going to do the things that we were talking about there. What could make them successful? I think they are going to recognize that, or have recognized that, and will continue to build on those things. So those are the real key things that I want to see the Steelers do here Sunday. And then special teams has to be the special teams. Chris Boswell can't have another block kick, but that happens. It's the NFL. There's good players on both sides of the football, so you're going to have that happen. But Chris Boswell, just continue to be boss. Corliss Waitman, I'd love to see him only punt one time in this football game also. Maybe none. That would be real, real nice. So just continue to be special like the special teams have. Maybe cause a turnover with a guy like a Ben Saronic, a Miles Killebrew. You know, those guys that can contribute in big ways and really flip a ball game for the Pittsburgh Steelers come Sunday. Also, I wanted to bring up one thing there. James Harrison, wanting to coach for the Steelers. I guess he was on Big Ben Roethlisberger's Channel 7 during a live stream talking about that he put some feelers out there about coming to coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin never got back to him with it, but is that something you would want to see? Do you want to see more former players brought in that understand the Steelers culture, that understand the Steelers scheme and the way of playing football, Steeler football? Is that something that would benefit this ball club? I'm curious to know. I think that should be our question of the day here for you guys that are Steelers fans, Steelers Nation out there. Would you like to see more people like James Harrison, and James Harrison in particular, come into the Steelers as assistant coaches, as specialist type coaches, to show these players what it means to be a Steeler first and foremost, and share that talent, share that love, that passion of the game, share that knowledge, so these players can maybe reach the level at that some of these players have reached during their NFL career. Again, is that something you would want to see? And is it something that a lot of players even want to do? I'm not sure, probably not, but definitely a guy like James Harrison seems to be interested in it, and I don't think bringing Debo into the fold would necessarily be a bad thing. Plus, Debo would get to use those facilities every single day, get his workouts in. But anyway, yeah, man, that's just something extra I wanted to throw in here at the end. But thank you for joining us here on a Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday, yeah, or Wednesday, rather, here on Mic Drop Sports. Appreciate you sharing, liking, and subscribing if you're not already. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. We appreciate having you, and we want you to comment. And even if you comment something stupid like, hey, let's go Steelers, or anything, just throw that comment in there. That helps the algorithm. That helps the chances of the video getting out to the masses, because YouTube scolds me sometimes and doesn't put my stuff out there as much as possible, or as much as they should, probably, considering that we have thousands of subscribers. You would figure that they would put us out there a little bit more. However, they don't. So it is what it is. We'll just continue to work hard and put our nose to the grindstone and get going. We only need 7 or 8 more subscribers to hit 3,700. So let's get those subscribers here today, and that comes from you guys sharing, liking, and subscribing. And also tonight, we want to start that march toward 4,000. We only need a few hundred more subscribers, and getting 4,000 would be a perfect situation here for us here in December. It'd be a nice Christmas gift to our channel. So thank you again. And until tonight for Steel City Live, we'll probably be on about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No, we will be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Steel City Live tonight. Be there or be square, my friends, for the best sports show in America, the best live sports show where your voice is heard each and every day. That's no bullshit. That's no lip service. You come, you get your voice heard. You get to sound off as part of Steelers Nation or an NFL fan in general, and allow your questions, comments, and concerns to be answered here live on the channel each and every single day. All right, guys, I'm Jason. This is Mic Drop Sports. Peace, my friends.